Hi there, it's Wade McMaster here from CreatorImpact.com. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you the ultimate blocks for the Gutenberg editor in WordPress. Now, you may or may not even heard of these, but basically the ultimate blocks is a plugin that you can use to basically expand the Gutenberg editor. Basically it's a free plugin to install, you don't need to pay for it, and it has a few of these awesome blocks here that you can add. Now I've used one or two of these so far, but I haven't actually explored the whole thing, but it all looks pretty straightforward, and it looks like there's some really good sort of extras coming here that that are really useful, far more useful than I expected anyway upon first glance. So I thought today I would install a plugin. We could take a look at each block. There's not that many, but there are some very good ones in there, and I thought we'd take it from there and see what this plugin has to offer. So let's go check it out. All right, so I'm going to go into my plugins, add new, and I'm going to search for this plugin and install it. I'm going to search for Ultimate Blocks. As you can see, I've already typed it in here. Ultimate Blocks. I'm going to install. I'm going to activate. Now, I've played previously with, I think it was like some of the expanded content, but not everything. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. But I'm going to start off with, I'm going to create a new post. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to also generate some lorem ipsum for this post. So 1 second. And because I have Divi installed on this site, I'm going to use the default editor. I'm going to paste that lorem ipsum in there. I'm just going to add some headers. So, okay, random header, heading. Let's say subheading. So that's a heading 2 down there. I'm going to put a heading, make it a heading 3. I don't know how this got on here. It must have been something I pasted. That's all right. We'll remove those blocks. All right, so this is a heading 1. I'm going to turn that into a heading 2. All right, so I've got a basic, I'm going to say ultimate blocks test, and I'm going to save a draft. All right, so we've got our ultimate blocks installed. Pretty much we're going to look at how they work. So we're going to start by adding a block. Let's just go directly, we'll go directly below this text here, and let's just start with the first block and work our way through to see what we get. I've sort of tried to plan ahead with some blocks, even the ones I haven't used, by adding this in here, but we'll see what we run into as we go. So I'm going to go to add block, and we have our normal blocks here, common blocks, formatting, widgets, embeds. Then we have this section here called ultimate blocks, which is the blocks from the plugin. So I'm going to click the arrow. Whoops, I sort of got a bit ahead of myself there. I'm going to click the arrow, double click that accidentally, ultimate blocks. Yep, the first block we have here is a star rating, so I could have left that on there. So we're going to pop a star rating there. So straight away, this seems pretty straightforward. So let's say we're rating lorem ipsum, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Let's say this text is a decent product or whatever. This doesn't really matter. So whatever it is, you might be reviewing a movie, you might be reviewing some music, you might be reviewing a product. Having these stars in there can be really cool. We might even make it 4 stars. And over on the right here, we have some basic settings such as color. So if I want to, I can make the stars blue. I can make the stars much larger. I can even increase the amount of stars if I want to. Or even, so I go from 5 up to 10 by the looks of it. What happens if I type in 12 here? Do we get 12? No. 12? No. Only goes up to 10. But that's all right. Sometimes you've got to try these things out. We'll stick with the 5-star system. And looks like here we can center the text, center the stars, left the text, right the stars. So you got some layout options here that you can play with, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's basically it. We've got a star rating here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a subheader. So a heading, you say heading 3. I'll say star rating. And we'll just keep on going down from here. We'll say subheading. Don't know why I need to fix that, but that's all right. Let's add another one down the page here. Get into our ultimate blocks. Testimonial. Now, I haven't used this, but I have seen it. It looks like we can add in a proper testimonial here, like say if I'm reviewing this website is absolutely horrible. That's our review. Comes from a guy named John Doe. Let's just say his name is Rob Jones from, you know, Star Tech or something, some weird thing. And we can actually pop an image in here. So let's go to upload image, and I'll just pick an image out of my media library. We got this guy. Alrighty. So we've got a circle here. So let's have a look at the options. First of all, we have a background color. If we want to, we can make the background color dark and make the body color a light gray. We can even hit a custom color, make it 100% white, or even a custom color up here. By the looks of it, custom color, and play with that a little bit as well. So it's pretty cool that you can make this pretty much whatever you want. We'll add a bit more text in here. Just kidding. Wonderful. Check it all out. Blah, blah, blah. So we add in this testimonial. We've got our picture of our guy here. We can make the font size bigger if we want to, although the line height is a bit worrying there. It sort of blends into each other, but I'm guessing most people won't go too big with this anyway. What's under advanced? Just CSS classes. So you can basically change the colors and the size of the text. So that is pretty much adding a testimonial block. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add another little subheading here. Just call it testimonial. Let's add something else just down the bottom of the page. Add a block. Go down to our ultimate blocks. Call to action. So it's fitting that we're going to the bottom of the page because this could be a nice way to actually end a blog post. So we're going to hit call to action. So let's do an obvious one. Let's say subscribe now, download our PDF or whatever it is you're offering, and you can add in some text here. Our PDF contains free mystery information and the answers to life. Something ridiculous. All right, cool. So we got our little sign me up. And we can paste our URL in here. So if we've got a, say, a landing page in ConvertKit or MailChimp, we can copy and paste that URL. But for now, I'm just going to go to the home page of this website, pretend that it's a sign-up form. All right, so we've created this call to action. Now, once again, we have settings, but this time looks like we have a lot more. So if I go to color settings on the right here, once again, maybe I'll choose purple for it to stand out. Well, that's a bit full on, so maybe we'll go a bit deeper and darker. But now the text can't be read, so I'm going to go, actually, I'll make the border a lighter color. Headline settings, I can make the text larger, smaller, use a heading tag. Okay, heading 3, so that's pretty cool. And then we're going to choose our custom color. Definitely white for this background, so it can be red. And then the content settings, we can still make that font larger or smaller. We'll make that gray. Button settings. So here we go. We can change the width of the button, change the font size of the button, change the color to maybe black, or let's actually go like a proper black. Button text color. So there you go. You got a few options there. Not the best looking call to action, but it's there nonetheless. Link settings, we can add no follow to the link, which is pretty cool, or even open it in a new tab. All right, cool. So let's just add our little heading there, and let's preview this whole page to see how it all looks so far. Call to action. I'm going to save the draft. And preview it. All right, so we've got our ultimate blocks test here, our lorem ipsum. As you can see, our star rating is shown up pretty much exactly as it did on the back end. This is a decent product with our 4 stars. We keep scrolling. We've got our testimonial here from the Muay Thai fighter I drew a few years ago. Testimonial from Rob Jones from StarTech. You keep scrolling. And we've got our call to action, which if I click, takes me to my home page because I haven't set up an actual page for it to work on. So I'm going to close that down. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what else we've got. I'm going to actually go above the random header. And we're going to add in one up here. So go to our ultimate blocks. Divider. So nothing special here, I'm imagining, but there is a few more controls here than what we have in the other divider, the standard WordPress divider, we can change the thickness. It's quite thick, quite thin. And the height, so basically the space around it, which is very handy. That's something that I found a little bit annoying about the WordPress divider. And we can make it red, yellow. Let's just make it red. Cool, that's a divider, quick and easy, nothing fantastic. Let's keep going. Ultimate blocks. Click to tweet. This is very cool. So this can be a handy way to share your post. Maybe you have a quote like, "This is a really shareable quote." Wow. And we can have the address of our blog post. And then maybe even a little via. Whoops. So we can create a little click to tweet button there, which is pretty cool because that means we can set that up so if someone sees this bit of text, they can click to tweet and it'll actually, click to tweet. But there is one thing here which I didn't realize is that what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this and just have the quote there because it looks like you may be able to just simply pop the Twitter username in there. We can change the font size if we want to. The color scheme, so we can go blue or black with the border color being blue. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty much just changing the color scheme, font size, adding in your Twitter username. I'm actually pretty curious to see if that is automatically added to the tweet. So I'm going to save this and preview it again. Let's take a look. We scroll down. We got our really shareable quote. Well, click to tweet. As you can see here, it's got the quote, the web address, and the name. So all that extra stuff I was typing in isn't even necessary. You just pop your quote in there and that takes care of the rest. So that is actually really powerful. Really cool feature. So I'm actually really starting to get sold on this Ultimate Blocks, and there's our red divider. This Ultimate Blocks plugin, it's actually looking pretty good. All right, let's keep going. Ultimate Blocks. Social share. Here we go. This is another pretty cool thing. Alrighty, so now obviously the idea is that you share the page. So it might be on Twitter, Instagram, and we've got a few options here. So let's go down to size. We've got normal, medium, and large. Just go large because we want to really get in people's faces, and this. Then we can go square or circle. So that's pretty cool. Depending on the aesthetic of your site as to whether you want to have a square or a circle, you can choose that. Visibility. All right, so we can actually turn off Reddit if we don't want Tumblr on there, if we don't want Pinterest on there. So that is actually really handy. That's a pretty cool little feature. So yeah, if you're looking at adding shareable link buttons into your posts, this is a pretty easy way to do it. Now under color, so customize the color. So we can actually have one single color for everything if we don't want to have the original colors. So depending on what you're trying to do, I think that it's good to have those colors. Unless you've got a ton of colors on the page already, they're going to get lost. So it might be good to have a solid area of just like black and white or whatever. But if you've got a pretty neutrally colored website, having the colors here would make them, I guess, stand out possibly a little bit more. So that's pretty nifty. Once again, the options are so simple. It's really it's really cool how simple they've made everything. All right, so let's see what else I've got. As you can see, there's actually a few more here than I originally thought, but that's all right. We've got our content toggle. All right, so let's just add some stuff in here. Let's go toggle 1. This is some secret information. Toggle 2. More info. And let's go toggle 3. This is actually one of the ones I have used, so I'm a little bit of information, not a hell of a lot, but I've got some here. Now, before I go and add this information here, if I go on a plus, I can add in pretty much any block that I want. So I can go ahead and add an image, or I can even go ahead and add a star rating if I want to. So, secret. It's great. So we've got 3 toggles here. And what we can do, so you see if I click on this one here, I have color scheme options for each one. So this one's red, this one's gray. What if I make this one, let's say blue at the top? Oh wait, no, it has changed all of them. So there we go. It's actually across the board, although this one here, it's a little bit funny the way it changed on all of them, yet didn't change the text on all of them. So I'm guessing there's funny stuff going on there, but that's all right. Maybe I want to get rid of that altogether and just have that background white. Maybe I don't want the box around it. So that's one option. Or I can go light gray. Let's just stick with the light gray for now. Although the text, let's just go down title color. We'll make that title color black. So the title color seems to work on the individual block, but not the actual, not all of the blocks, which is a little bit funny, but no, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of options here. So show only one panel at a time, yes. So that way you only open one, you can't see the others, so that's a cool option. We want it to automatically be collapsed, although if I turn that off, I can have that. So the idea is that if I'm guessing this has to be turned off for that to be turned on. So that way it's automatically collapsed, it doesn't open, so to speak. But I prefer this version here. Border, we can turn the border on or off. We still have the heading section. Enable FAQ schema, oh, that's pretty handy. We can change the headings. So we've got heading 3, let's make a heading 3, make it a bit bigger. The toggle status, oh yeah, so this arrow here can be left or right. Didn't know that, that's actually pretty cool. And the icon, oh yeah, it could be none or it could be a plus. Yeah, the plus is pretty cool. All right, yeah, so that's pretty nifty. That's pretty much all the options there. All right, so I'm going to save draft and I'm going to, when I can, preview this again. Let's go have a look at this stuff and just see how we're going with it. Let's scroll down. Got our click to tweet with our share buttons, which is pretty cool. We've got our toggles. Because I've got a heading 3, the togging title is actually quite large, a little bit unnecessarily large. But we can turn that off, that's not a big deal. The headings on this website I did make quite large, and I'm also zoomed in. So there you go. It's actually not collapsing the other ones, even though I've got only show one at a time, but you know. So there's a few funny little issues with it. It's not perfect, but it is pretty good. All right, cool. All right, we're going to come down and we're going to go down to here and we're going to see what else we got. Ultimate blocks. Button. Now this is an improved button over the WordPress button. So let's say you want to add something at the bottom. You say learn more here. So maybe I'll go delete the button text. We'll go learn more and then I'll pop in a URL. Or, you know, jokes on them. We'll just send them to Google. Geez, I've got to learn how to type. RS google.com. All right, so we put our text in there and our link to the button. Now, what makes this different from the other button is the fact that you can choose different sizes: large, extra large, so gigantic. Button width can be flexible, full width. So that way, if I make it full width but I make it small, you got this weird, huge, long button. Or so yeah, you've got some cool options there to change the size. You can change whether it goes in a new tab or as a, you know, if we want to no follow the link, we can go rounded, we can go transparent, so with a border, so that's pretty handy. Add a button icon on the left or the right, so let's open this up. Look at that, we've got a few, now we've got a whole array of icons here we can use also. So learn more, let's say we just pop this one in there. Yeah, very cool. We can add that in the left or the right. Looks better on the left. Button colors. So we want the button color. Let's make it orange. Button color on hover red. So when we hover, it goes red. Pretty handy. To remove that transparency, we've got white text on the red. So what happens if we make the button background a really mid-tone like gray? If we make it black, if we make it really light. So the text. So there you go. That's actually pretty handy. I didn't realize the text color option pops up when you remove the transparency. So. Button text color and hover, we'll go orange. Doesn't look good, but yeah, it's there. Let's stick with purple. That looks even worse. We'll keep it that way. All right. So let's keep going. Let's add in another ultimate block. from our ultimate blocks. Button, tabbed content. Now this could be incredibly useful. So I can add a tab title in here. It might be features, technical specs. Then we might just have, maybe you have your testimonials in there. Now here's the thing that would be worth trying. We'll grab our testimonial from up here. Let's actually select both of these, move them down. Let's see if we can pop these actually into our section here. I'm just pretty much trying my luck. There you go, testimonial goes in there, which is pretty cool. And we can also pop our title in there, I'm guessing. Now we get our testimonial under here. Technical specs, we can type what we want. We can add in our usual array of blocks, so that's pretty cool. Maybe we want to move our button into the technical specs. Features, list some features. All right, so we've got some tabs there. So I'm actually going to go onto the live site and check that out now. But actually, just before I do, while we've got this selected, active tab color, let's make that black. Active tab color text is, say, white. That's pretty cool. Layout, horizontal tab. So that's something else too. Tab anchors. Anchor for the current tab. Oh, there you go. So that way, if you want to link to it, you can have, your blog post and then a hashtag features, and you then, if you want that, you just say features, pop that in there. So you actually have the tabs on vertical as well, instead of horizontal, and you can change this dependent on what device. Accordion, that's even pretty cool too, which is very good for phone because you don't want to be tabbing and back and forth. If you're on a phone, you want to be able to hit one or the other. So let's have a look. Now we're on the tab layout here. Let's just try this one first. And let's scroll down. All right, we've got our tabs here. Features, technical specs, learn more with our purple text, testimonials. So that's a pretty cool little feature. So now if I actually tab back, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, what I should have done originally is duplicate this whole thing, make the tabs vertical. So let's try that out. Let's go back, let's preview that, and compare the two. So they're actually going to be identical except for the fact that one has vertical tabs, one has horizontal tabs. So we've got our original tabs, and then we've got these tabs here. So that's pretty nifty. Like, there is a hell of a lot that you can make with these ultimate blocks. I'm really starting to find. I'm really thinking I'm going to have to start using these blocks on a lot of the sites I do because they're very flexible and easy to use. But we're still going, so let's. I'm going to say, for the sake of previewing and ease in the future, let's just go back up to the top and start at the top so we can go straight to where we want to go. Down to Ultimate Blocks, button, a table of contents. Did I skip something? Because I thought we went straight to tabbed. Doesn't matter. Table of contents, let's just add that in there. Now, this is something I saw before. I haven't used this, but it is something that I have looked at and explored. So we have a few options. We can have the table of contents in 2 columns, 3 columns by the looks of it. Numbers. And what this does is it basically looks at all of the headings in your blog post and adds contents that way. But I can choose to turn off heading 3, heading 4. If I turn off heading 2, we only get 1. Heading 3, we get a few. Heading 2. So you can actually have an automatic table of contents for your blog post. Now that is actually incredibly useful. That's something that, so we're going to right align, center. Additional settings allow users to toggle the visibility of table contents. Yeah, why not? So they can hide that if they want to. Initially show, let's just turn that off. Enable smooth scrolling, sure. Enable conversion of links to the Latin alphabet. Yeah, why not? So you've got a few options there. I'm not 100% sure how these are going to operate, but I am curious. So let's just save that and we'll preview it. So we've got our table of contents over here. We click show and boom. This is what we have. I click on random header. It takes me right down to that random header. Not quite, it's a little bit further down. That's all right. But there you go. So table of contents with the option to hide it. So I think that's actually really useful. That's a pretty cool little option to have. All right, so let's add something else in here. And let's go down to our ultimate blocks. I'm actually wondering where I saw that tabbed information before. I thought it was, I see it's sort of rearranged a little bit. Content toggle. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Progress bar. So we can say, you know, if you're working on a project and you have a website that publicly talks about, you know, you can say that we're going to increase the thickness. Oh, she's 78% complete. So it's funny how the icon shows this like sort of dot, 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 but it looks like you've only got the option to have a straight bar, which is a little bit funny, but you know, it does the job, I guess. Right align, flat prior, yeah, so that just moves the text around above it. Oh yeah, we can have a circle, 79%, or the bar. All right, so what do you say? We might, there's a bit of a glitch happening with this popping up over here. I'm not sure what's going on there, but let's turn it into a circle. Ah, yep, don't worry. We're going to make this a bit less. We'll make it 54, or 40% complete. Client happiness is 40%. All right, so we've got that there. We'll keep moving on. We'll check that again later. It's a pretty straightforward one. Let's go down to our ultimate blocks again. All right, so I see that one's moved again. So anyway, we're going to go to the countdown block. So this is pretty cool. I can actually choose a date, let's say June the 4th, and it'll come up with, okay. So this will show up when the time is actually finished. But I can actually choose a few different options. I've got the countdown timer, I've got the digital. I'm actually going to duplicate these and show each one. So we're going to go with the clock. Then we're going to duplicate. I'm going to go with the little digital clock. So each of these I'm imagining would have some options. This one just has a date. This one has some color options. Let's go with the purple. Once again, just the purple, that's pretty much it. Over here, just the date, so pretty straightforward. All right, so we might just check these out and see how it's going. It's a bit funny how this is moving. I'm not a big fan of that necessarily, but I guess, yeah, you win some, you lose some. It's a free plugin, like you really can't complain with what you get. And that is moving a little bit, so that's something that hopefully gets fixed in a future update. But we can see here our project progress, 79% on the bar, client happiness, 40%. Now you can, I don't know if you remember, but in Gutenberg, you can add columns. So we can actually have multiples of these along if you want to by adding in your standard Gutenberg columns. So that's pretty nifty. 3 weeks, 0 days, 23 hours, 32 minutes. We've got this. This is pretty cool. The more visual version, I think is pretty awesome. And the fact that it still counts down. This is a little boring, but yeah, hey, it still does the job. So it's there if you want it. All right, let's go back and explore a bit more. What I'm going to do, just to tidy things up a little bit, I'm going to remove a whole bunch of these things, just to simplify it a bit. All right, let's get back down to our ultimate blocks. All right, so we've used all of these. Review. So we've got, you know, maybe someone has gone and seen new movie 7. Author name, Mr. Critic. The feature name, oh, it's a new movie. New movie. We give it 3 stars. We get another one where we say, but the action was 5 star. The dialogue, 1 star. So that is that's a pretty cool little table. You can actually rate various aspects of a product or something like that with the star system. And of course, you can get rid of each row if you want to. And it actually summarizes and averages out the stars here. And you can use a call to action. So if I actually go into this call to action here, I can just say, you know, download movie, pop my URL in there, which let's put a hash in there for now. So you actually got a call to action option as well, which is pretty cool. So we'll check out the options over here. The active star color, we can make that red, so it stands out. Let's make it blue. Just stick with the blue. Inactive star color, if we want to, we'll make that a light blue just to be different. Star outline, so maybe we go with the blue to match the active. The button color, so it's pretty much we're choosing our colors. Now call to action, we can disable it or re-enable it. Add the nofollow, open in a new tab, add our review schema, enable review image. So let's pop that on there and let's upload an image from our media library. Add this guy again. So we've got a review image, image size. So that's pretty cool. We can make it 300, or is that too big, too small? 200 is the biggest by the looks of it. Enable review description. Okay, well, let's do that. Say it's a movie. So it's kind of like a product description if you've got an SKU and an identifier. But yeah, offer type, aggregate offer. Well, let's just say that it's $5,000 US. Offer expiry date tomorrow. All right, so we've got a whole bunch of different items on here. I've got no idea what it's going to look like, so let's just preview and have a look. So, you know, if you're doing a review blog, this could be a very useful block for you if you're wanting to rate certain aspects of a product. New Movie 7 by Mr. Critic. Summary. Now, our item description doesn't seem to be there, but either way. Download movie. So that's pretty cool. I could definitely see myself using that in the future, probably without the image, probably without all the bits and pieces. I'd probably stick to just the stars. So I'd probably actually go through and I would disable this, disable the image, and I'd probably even disable the call to action button altogether. So yeah, I'd simplify that and probably use other items instead of those things. So that way what we get is a bit cleaner, because it seems a little bit funny the way it's spaced out. It doesn't look great. But however, that could also be the theme I'm using and how it's actually displaying the block. But I do like this much simpler format personally. I personally would probably style some of this with CSS to clean it up. But once again, it's free. It's awesome. It is ultimate. So review block, image slider. So this is pretty cool. So let's go to our media library, add in a few images. Let's just go this and this and this. This is from my actual web design business site. I'm just going to add some captions. 1, 2, 3. Insert gallery. Paste the URL or type to search. So we can actually, hire me with a little link there. All right, and we've got this little slider, so that's pretty cool. Pretty nifty feature. Upload an image. So slider settings, wrap around. So that way it just goes to the end and stops, but we want it to keep going. Allow dragging, so we can actually drag the items. That's pretty cool. Turn the dots on or off. I usually like having the dots on. Not a big fan of the drag. Enable autoplay. Every 3 seconds, we can change the height. So yeah, basic settings, but enough to be quite useful. Pop that up above the review block, and let's keep going from there down to our ultimate blocks. Content filter. All right, so this is I have seen this, not overly familiar with it, but it's definitely looks like a bit of a full-on sort of thing. So I think the idea is category name. Let's just say we'll just go. Let's say we're doing like a movie thing again. Let's say martial arts. Say gunfights, car chases. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Allow multiple sections. New content. All right, so this content is Hitman. It is martial arts. Add new content. Fast and Furious. It is quite literally everything. New content. So let's go Star Wars. Space Fight, we'll call it. We'll call it the Quick and the Furious, just to be different. Zip Man. Space Fight. They have car chases in space. All right, cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to preview that again. We can check out our image slider quickly and just see what these blocks look like. So we've got our little slider here. This can be very useful for showing off images for certain things. Now, this is our content here. If I want to see just martial arts, I can see these two. If I want to see just car chases, we have these two. If I want to see both, if it has to have both within it for that to show up. All three. So there you go. It just sort of filters the content a little bit. But if I actually go over, what I might do is actually go to the Ultimate Blocks website and show you basically what I looked at earlier. So basically I'm going to just pause this for a second. All right, so if I scroll down here, if you spend a bit more time on it, if I spent time here, we're going to be here all night. So basically I will go to, there is a section here on the content filter. And they've already got a far more comprehensive version of that down this page here. So that way, if you're going through tools, you want editing and proofreading only, you've got these. Productivity, it adds more to it. So we actually go through and turn on or off certain tools. Only want paid. No, I want free. I want freemium. So it's a pretty handy little filter here. And whereas what I've done on this one is actually, so what I should have been doing is adding a category name. So I can say action type. So I would probably even add more along here in that regard. And it looks as if I can add in whatever content I need to in here as per usual, just like images, that sort of thing. So we can actually create a content filter similar to the one we just looked at, but I think that might take a little too long to do here. So I'm just going to remove that for now because you've got an idea of how it works. Very cool. Something worth playing with anyway. I think it would probably require its own video though. So yeah, we're getting towards the end of this now. So let's go down. Styled box. Very cool. So we can actually create little feature boxes. Add your content here. Okay, so let's say web design. It is a number box, a feature box, notification box. Add a tick. No, that's pretty. Oh, so you can have it as notifications that go down the page or something like that. That's pretty cool. But I'm going to go, I've got a number box, so I can add in there 1. Do some stuff. Web design. Or I can go to make it a feature box. Add an image. I thought there might be some icons to choose from, but it turns out let's just add this in there. We've got our image, do some stuff. Let's center align that. It looks like we can have up to 3 columns. Oh, there you go. We can add another feature box in here, another feature box, and basically go that way. Same with the notification box. We don't only have 1 column. With the number box, up to 3 columns. So we can go 1, 2, 3. Change our colors. So there you go. Very, very basic settings. There could be a bit more they could put into that, but I mean, it's for what it is. It's still not bad because, like I said, you can still add columns in Gutenberg anyway and add an image and some text. So you can probably do this even without this block. But you know, it's still pretty cool. Let's remove that and remove this as well. Let's see what else we got. We're getting towards the end of this now. So image slider, content filter, style box, expand. I'm actually not sure what this is. Oh, there we go. So we can say Well, I saw this big. So what happens if we just go, all right, cool. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Preset size, let's go medium. So we've got the whole thing selected, or we can choose the expand portion. Drop cap. So there's not really a lot of settings with this. That doesn't really matter. Let's actually preview and just see. I've got the impression that it's you add a shorter bit of text and a longer bit of text. So if they want to get more information, they can. That could be incredibly handy for creating sort of scannable posts and information. But let's go. Let's have a look. I think I've gone too far. Well, I saw this big, show more. Well, I saw this big thing that was large. There you go. So it actually shows both. So this is like another little, if you have a heading there, like, let's actually go back and turn it to something decent for the sake of the video. It's like you can so learn how to do this from home. And then let's just copy all this text here. And let's say that that's the text we want to access. And once again, we can add in some of our bits and pieces. So, yeah, star rating. So we can add in blocks in between. All right, let's preview that. So this can be cool. Another way to just sort of hint on something, if you don't want it to really take up a heap of space on the page, you can actually have that nice little toggle in there. So let's scroll down. You can also learn how to do this from home, how it's spelled incorrectly, but that doesn't matter. Show more. Oh yeah, we've got this. Our subheading and some stars. So another cool, it's kind of like a toggle, but a bit more minimalist in nature. So that's pretty nifty. Let's just remove that again. I think it's a bit confusing with all this stuff on the page sometimes. Ultimate blocks, styled list. All right, so I'm just going to go, I'll leave it as item 1, item 2, item 3. Icon color, we're going to make the icons red, so we've got red ticks. The icon size can be large or small, which is pretty cool. Selected icon. There you go. We have all of these possible icons that we can choose from. Now, that is actually really cool because generally speaking, you have to use, I've been using CSS to style a lot of the lists on my site, but it's good to know. Yeah, a little wine glass there. Probably not the best, or a little wrench. And then that way, if you want to list something and you do want to, maybe you want to add a few lists on a page and have different icons for each one because maybe one's related to one thing or another. For example, if you were, talking about, the quality of your mechanics, and then you want to talk about something else, like step into our coffee shop or mechanic coffee shop combination that would never exist. But so yeah, the stylized list is pretty cool. Let's just close this one down. All right, let's keep going from there. Post grid. There you go. It shows a list of posts. So that's pretty handy. And we can have 2 columns, 3 columns, 1 column, 3 columns, grid, list. So I think that's actually really, really awesome because you can even set display featured image or not, display author, date, turn the excerpt on or off. For many people looking to create a blog where they want to customize the actual blog layout, this could be handy for some basic, to do a basic, because when you change it to grid, you can actually add the image at the top. If you change it to list, obviously it's a list. The items can be 1 or 2, up to 5. It's quite cool. The only issue is, what happens if I do this? Oh yeah, it's just that grid and list. We've got list, we've got newest to oldest. We can change oldest to newest or alphabetical. Category, so we can choose a category. Good, that's what I was actually trying to think about. Not bad, that's pretty cool. If you want to create your own custom blog page, that can be a way to take control of how it looks. So a pretty handy sort of feature having that on there. So let's actually duplicate that. Let's go grid. Let's go 3. Number of items 3, and let's columns 3. I've generally tried to make all my featured images the same height, but it looks like I failed on this one. That's all right. All right, let's see if we can bang out the last of these so we can have a look at them all and see how we're going from there. So, stylize. I think the how-to is the only one we've got left over, as it's probably moved the blog around. There's nothing here I can see that we've missed. How-to is the last one. How-to title. So, this is how to type. Introduction. Learn how to type. Add a step. Title goes here. Grab keyboard. Upload an image. Direction goes here. Use it. Add a tip. Use your fingers to type. Repeat. Add an image. Now I'm sort of just sort of getting through this a bit just to you don't want to, obviously you're watching this, you don't necessarily want to take up a heap of time. This is what you get. Upload image. Logo. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Preview it. And we've basically gone through all the blocks, but we're going to have a look at those last few live on the site so you can get an idea of basically how it all works. Ultimate blocks test. We've got our lists. So here is our list blog post. It's a shame I didn't see, not to say it wasn't there, but I didn't see an option to make this bigger or smaller, which is a bit disappointing, but this grid here is not too bad. The way that's set up is pretty cool. So that could be handy use for, you know, if you want to customize your blog page a little bit. This is how to type. How to type. Grab keyboard, image, use it, and repeat, image, and the result is this. Look, essentially, you can do that just by typing. It's cool. Don't get me wrong, it is pretty cool, but it does make things slightly easier. But you can do that just by typing, use your heading. Although it is indented, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm not really overly impressed by that how-to module, but some of the other modules are just absolutely fantastic. But that's basically it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. I thought it's some very cool stuff, and it looks like they're adding more to it. So if you do want to play around with that a bit, please, check out Ultimate Blocks. You can search for it on the WordPress plugin repository. So you can go just add it in via WordPress. It is free. Otherwise, if you like the video, please give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, please give the video give it a thumbs up. But subscribe. We'll do more like these in the future. Otherwise, have a good day, and I hope to see you next time.